Okay, well, we're back at it again with another Ravenbound speedrun. This one, thanks to a few things that Niffin said on the last one, I didn't realise you could get to this Mark 10 speed as you come out of the gates, which has been a great time saver on these runs. For this run in particular, I've elected to try and reset the shops whilst leaving the timer running. If it got to about a minute, then I'd reset the whole run, just to try and get the sword that I want, being the arcane mana sword. So if I don't get it within a minute, then I will reset the run entirely. But as you can see there, got it fairly quickly because I'm running swordsman for this run, which is increase of 30% extra damage versus the posture, the sword and shield trait, so which was increasing posture resistance or something when guarding, which isn't useful, well, not typically anyway. And so it just means that the chance of getting the sword that you want at the start goes from a 2 in 13 to a 2 in like 35 or something ridiculous. So straight away, once I've got the sword, go complete the little side quest to get my 130 gold, and then all I have to do is quickly grab some earn money. Earn some. That'd be a great dad pun there. That's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah. So I got a little unlucky with the earns not giving them straight away, but fast enough, and then I just dodged it up. My little jumps. There's lots of like time saves that could be made if you wanted to play perfectly. I will never get to the point of playing perfectly, but yeah. And so, given the location of where this is, it's really useful with these speedruns at the moment is to use the blessed shrines, so these ones here, and especially given the fact I'm going after specifically mana, so doubling your mana is a really good help, I guess. One thing I have noticed with the mana swords though is they don't work on the skeletons, the Drogar. So there must be a bug with the weapon just for them, or for spirit damage on them. So if I have to fight those, it's actually far worse because it just doesn't work the way it should. Or maybe it's intended that way entirely. I don't know. But I got lucky here with this one being a mana chest, and because they're a red spawn mob, or a very hard camp is what they're called, it gives a higher chance of good loot coming out of your the chest, and in particular, seeing as I'm after high mana chest is what I want. It actually ends up being very useful, as I'm pretty sure it's got 4 mana inside of it. Yeah, and then also looking for the sheath of potency or something along those lines. When picking cards that I'm not going to use, I typically try and pick the highest rarity card, as when you're defeating the world bosses, the card superior inner growth will either give you equal to or greater value from your for the cards that you trade in. So if you just have a high rarity card, you got a better chance of getting the legendaries. And seeing as it's just the 2 mana, I was just like, whatever, just play it on. Now here was a big choice. Didn't take me long to make it, but I decided to go for the Foresight and Hope to get a good card, either the Blessed Mana or in that case the extra 4 mana, which meant that I quickly changed my plan. I decided against finishing the rest of the tiers and going straight over to this Blessed Mana location. Knowing where all of these are off the top of your head is actually really useful for a speedrun. But the map now tells you where everything is. Originally there was no map and so you just had to remember. But the map is a great addition. It really makes it a lot easier as far as if you need like the health shrines and things like that. In particular if you're playing on a higher difficulty or doing a slow play. I've just beaten the game on both hard and nightmare, and having the places where to heal my health without costing any money was very useful. And because I play with keyboard and mouse, I don't think I'm as good at fighting as what I could be, but you still get through. So again, you quickly have a look. Anything to play? No. Might as well keep the cards and hold on to them to try and upgrade them again later. But so far, already at I think like 22 unspent mana, just by just by quickly using the mana things, because there's the 5 plus the 2 bonuses plus the other one. So you can ramp up a build quite quickly if you're looking to do so. Even if you're doing just a slow play of the game, if you really wanted to look at making your character stronger, once you've unlocked everything, it's actually not that hard to come up with a good build, because you could make just about any of the builds work, which is a great new change. It originally was very few builds were fantastic. You just stacked armor, not stacked armor or stacked health, not health, stacked armor or stacked damage. Either. So here, having a quick look, anything worthwhile? No, right there I should have probably taken the Thorn's Embrace because it's the higher rarity, but I don't think that would have made or broken any of the run as it is. Did I remember? Yeah, I did remember. I think one of these I forget to do the Mark 10 fly out, because again I'm just so used to holding spacebar in order to fly quickly. But here's one of the new world bosses. He can really cause some issues if you get hit by some of his attacks, because they hit in waves and you might dodge one or two, or you'll have frenzied one of them, but that won't actually then count for the third and fourth attack in the wave. Like that then, I got hit twice. Whereas if you at least block them, then you'll be invulnerable for the whole time. So here's where the run really picked up. I suddenly had the 2 items that you need to make a great run, and so I think I end up skipping out on a few extra things that I might have normally done. I still grab another Blessed Mana because you're right by it, just here. But yeah, that's part of the RNG element now that you didn't have to the same degree in the previous patch. Like, there wasn't as much RNG for making a run successful, whereas now there's a lot of ways to get like higher tier cards and you're not going to 100% know. And so here I was quickly trying to look whether or not they were mana chests that were going to spawn open, be available. Seeing as those are the only ones that I'm interested in at this point, as I had the weapon that I wanted, I had the armor and one of the relics, and really outside of that you don't need too much else. So I only stopped by here just because it's a mana chest, in the hopes that to get a good mana card. I think it was only ever 2 mana though. And again, check quickly if there's anything else worthwhile. Yeah, it was only 2 mana, but that still becomes 4 mana thanks to the blessed chest. So that's 20 additional damage per hit thanks to the sword. So there might be some better weapon choices, but for the moment I'm finding that this weapon choice is the one that is the most consistent. There might be a better chance with Lucky Sword, because they won't ever be able to move, but you don't have the same amount of damage. Unless maybe you had the potency as well. But, or even a Endless Pockets build again. I haven't tried an Endless Pockets build. Due to where all of the boss spawns are now. So to go out to the fire area is actually not that beneficial, because it's not close to any of the bosses. And so because of that, it's not the ideal location. But I do know that that used to be one of the best places. But yeah, we'll see if they end up changing world boss spawn so that they're all out all at once, or if they'll just leave it as is to have them like progressively get harder. So starting with an easy one and then having the hardest at the very end. He's typically the hardest, the hammer boss. But if you're super strong by the end of it, like by the end of a run, it's actually not that bad. But yeah, here we go again. The Mark 10 speed is just really beneficial. And then if you get some lucky multi-strikes, then you're laughing. But the nerf to multi-strike needed, but doesn't make speedrunning a lot slower. Well, not that much slower really. What, this was 17 minutes or so. Our best time was whatever it was. It was 14:45 for me, and I think 14:40 for Pixel. So it's like 3 minutes slower. Now, so there I decided that those were the 2 cards that were going to work for me. Didn't really matter. I just needed to pick something to add to my relic slots. The critical hits, useful. Multi-strike on forceful attack. It's alright. It would have been better if it's 100% multi-strike chance on a forceful attack, but that would probably be a little bit too broken. But if you were to pick up 2 of them and then they would stack together, that would actually be not a bad little build. Pixel was doing some runs where he was testing out the forceful attack yesterday when he was doing his rebuild. Just seeing how the game plays as a new player again, I guess. But again, the mana swords just kind of carry through. What's that? 829 damage now. Yeah, the magic potency actually is probably what carries it. Because I reckon if you didn't have that. But here I decided to skip out on the chest because my relics were already done. And there's nothing in the frost that's really that worthwhile, I don't think. You can get a little bit of armor and some thorns, but thorns is only useful if you've got the if you're running the, I think it's called Commanding Presence trait, where you'll you can stack your thorns based off your HP. and so you could really get some massive thorn damages off using that, especially if you stacked your health. But we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I don't think I did my Mark 10 just then, but I'm pretty sure you can't do it in that last section. Or I don't believe it worked for me. But yeah, here's the human. He's actually can be quite difficult, especially playing on Nightmare, because each hit is worth about 120 health, so you don't want to get hit at all. And usually it's the second stage where you get a little bit lazy with what you're doing, and then you take one hit and you actually could lose the run because of it. But no big issues there. And oh yeah, I got then super lucky, and I had to quickly decide what I was going to get rid of. I'm not sure whether I made the right choice there, but... And then to get to your Mark 10, I don't know if running or flying was the best option over that, but it definitely speeds you up. But I think I slow myself down because when it starts flapping, I think that I'm supposed to flap again, and that's... Whereas yeah. There's definitely a few ways to save some time. You could definitely get this down to close to that 15-minute mark with the right RNG. Like if you pull the sword straight away, like, and then get super lucky on like the first the witch, and picking out something like the potency armor or or the relic, you could really probably ramp a run up quite quickly. Yeah, and then Betrayer's fairly straightforward, as the Betrayer has always been. I don't know how they make the Betrayer harder. Like, the world bosses typically are harder than what the Betrayer fight feels like. And there, I try to use my Surge and do it, but it takes so long, and if I didn't use it, you lose it. And so I probably should have just waited it out and lost the Surge to get the triple attack. And here I was just like, oh yep, it's done. No. But yeah, so there you have it. That's your 1748 run. It's very similar to the last one, only I think I've not perfected, but gotten an idea of what the build should look like in order to get it faster. Again, if this is the sort of stuff you like watching, let me know. If it's stuff you don't like watching, don't watch it. Like that's fine as well. But yeah. Until I beat this one, enjoy your own Ravenbound runs. Thanks.